Ram Jethmaani joins the News Hour debate tonight. And they agree on different issues, but I know that on this issue they have divergent points of view. My first question tonight is to Subramanian Swamy. Mr. Swamy, on the 3rd of November, you described the denial of bail to Kanimodi and 7 others by the trial court as a correct decision since they had committed, in your view, a crime against the nation. This is exactly what you said. You were in fact pushing the line that jail is an exception and Kani and others could influence witnesses. The Supreme Court and subsequently the High Court have found no merit of this argument. Isn't this a massive blow to you personally and to your line of argument in this case?
No, it's not a massive blow at all. It's no blow at all. After all, they have not acquitted Kanimodi or any of them. What they have said is that they can be set at large. And that is ultimately a question of judgment. It was my judgment that these people will come, they will have an impact on the witnesses who have to take the stand and depose against them. Some of them are employees. If the court has come to a conclusion, ultimately, how can I say that the court is not entitled to decide on this issue?
Your argument has been...
They are the best judge. Ultimately, they have to decide.
Your argument was these are not ordinary people. You said these are billionaires.
I agree.
With all kinds of international connections.
I would say, certainly, I am a person who, if I was the judge, I would not have given them bail. But then that doesn't mean that judges in a single court itself, they differ. Sometimes the High Court says something, the Supreme Court says something else. There is a differences. But I wouldn't take it to this point where I would consider this as a blow. It's not a blow at all. It's all that has happened is that Ms. Kanimodi, instead of living in jail, would be now...
You're trying to underplay it, sir.
Supervised...
So you're trying to underplay it now.
Huh?
Because the court...
There's no question of underplaying. What did I say? I'm sorry, you see, you may want me and Jethmalani to have a clash. I'm thankful to Jethmalani. He began by making out. This is not a question of a duel. There is no question. I had only taken a stand that bail is not compulsory once the charge sheet is filed. It is still a discretion of the judges.
No, it was not.
That's
sure,
the stand
I agree with you. But you also said, okay, but you also said, and on that point, and let me tell you, I am absolutely not keen to try and bring out a clash of ideas between two eminent people where there exists none.
You don't want a cockfight.
I would like to caveat that. Mr. Jethmalani and Mr. Swamy, I don't think I can create a clash where there is none. But I believe, and I strongly believe, that if I see the pattern of your arguments, Mr. Jethmalani cannot agree with it. Mr. Jethmalani, here is what Subramanian Swamy said. Subramanian Swamy said, when they are released, an atmosphere will be created by their going out. There will be celebrations, rallies will be held. And therefore, the wiser thing is to keep them in jail at least till the witness deposition is over. This is what Mr. Subramanian Swamy said. Do you agree with that?
Now listen, we are all administering what is called the adversarial system of administration of criminal justice. The theory of this adversarial system is that two persons ranged on opposite sides make the most unfair arguments, and the fairest chance of these unfair arguments on both sides is that ultimately the judge can arrive at the truth. Now, Mr. Swamy was absolutely justified in making that argument. On the other hand, Kanimodi's lawyers were also entitled to make that argument. Now, the highest court of the country has laid down the law, and according to me, the law that they have laid down is that we in this country do start with a presumption of innocence, and that presumption of innocence is destroyed only when a person is convicted by the last court. And why should a person who has a chance of being acquitted suffer punishment before he is actually found guilty?
Precisely.
This is the theory.
Precisely.
Now the Supreme Court has laid that wholesome principle now. According to me, it was laid long, long ago, and the courts were ignoring it. On the other hand, let me say this, that some people have a very, very honest judgment about it, that influential people, when released on bail, may well influence witnesses and try to corrupt the judicial process. On the other hand, the law is that you cannot go by mere suspicion of what a person will do.
Mr. Jethmalani.
There should be some reasonable, credible evidence of a propensity to interfere.
Mr. Jethmalani.
Now the courts have found that no such propensity exists in this case.
Let me ask you pointedly.
We all submit.
Mr. Jethmalani, I want to ask you pointedly. I want to ask you very pointedly, Mr. Jethmalani. The fact is that your point has been held in court, and today you are trying to keep an extremely, would I say, sir, it can be construed as a generous disposition, or it can be construed as a very all-accommodating disposition. Mr. Jethmalani, you did not have such a all-accommodating disposition on this case earlier. Hence, I want to ask you pointedly. Mr. Subramanian Swamy's basic contention was this.
Have you ever seen me opposing anybody's bail? I appeared for Kanimozhi in the trial court and argued the question of her bail.
My question to you is,
she was the person most entitled to bail.
Mr. Jethmalani,
but
please take a position
tonight. I don't think Mr. Swamy will quarrel with me.
No, I know that both of you, tonight it appears Subramanian Swamy and Ram Jethmalani have called a truce, which is very interesting, but I want you to take a position. I want you to take a position tonight, now because position is this.
We have not called a truce. We have not called a truce. We have made permanent peace.
Thank you very much. It's very convenient, but here's the question tonight. Do you believe that Subramanian Swamy was right or wrong?
Arnab is disappointed.
1 minute. No. Question. I have to get a direct answer from Mr. Jethmalani tonight. Do you believe, Mr. Jethmalani, that Subramanian Swamy was right or wrong? And there is no grey area possible when he strongly argued that Kanimozhi could tamper with evidence. Was this argument persuasive or unpersuasive in your view? And can you please take a position on that?
Listen.
Yes.
I will take a position. I am not afraid of taking a position. Mr. Swamy was justified in expressing his apprehension, and perhaps his apprehension was well founded, but the law is slightly different. The law is that there must be some credible evidence in the conduct of the prisoner that he has that propensity already, and which propensity would make it a reasonable probability that he will in future interfere with his misuse of liberty. Now, that's the slight difference between Mr. Swamy's argument and
in this case,
technical law for that argument.
So in this case, the gap between the time the 2G licenses were issued and the probe was initiative would have given enough time for all the accused to destroy whatever they wanted to. This has also been one of your arguments. Yes, 1 second. They are getting specific. Therefore, tonight, you would agree with me.
Not mine.
Yes.
Not mine. And listen, all the time, you are overstepping the limits of an anchor. The anchor's duty is to hear both sides and convey them to your viewers.
Mr. Jethmalani.
And not to take up a position.
I'm not. I'm only asking
Please don't do this.
Okay, here's I'm asking you tonight. Your argument was, Mr. Subramanian Swamy, that Kanimozhi's contention, that this was a contention, she could tamper with evidence. Do you still hold that view? Or do you today believe that, overall maybe you stretched the argument of it in her case? Mr. Swamy, did you stretch the argument in the case of Ms. Kanimozhi?
No. You see, first of all, let me say that the trial court judge and I had the same view. Now, the High Court has taken a different view. Now, in the judicial system, in our democracy, we have, as Jethmalani correctly pointed out, we have adversarial position. This was my position. I do believe that these people will play a role. But then if I catch them doing it, we can always move for cancellation of their bail. But the judges in their wisdom said that this is something which can be taken they took it into account and decided that enlarging them in bail is not going to jeopardize the judicial system or the process of the trial.
Many people have commented about...
When the judges have decided,
yes.
Well, what do you expect me to say?
No.
Do I still hold that position?
No,
of course I hold that position.
We must look at the argument itself.
Once the judge has decided, that's the end of the matter.
The argument itself tonight, I must say this, tonight Ram Jethmalani and Subramanian Swamy have agreed tonight not to clash on this particular issue. But I know the strong points of view. Gentlemen, it's very clear tonight.
You sound very disappointed.
I'm not disappointed in the least.
Oh my
but
God.
I must say this, that however, I would ask you, Subramanian Swamy,